I've trained calisthenics for 10 years. I've solely focused on strength. But what's on the other side? What can we learn from endurance? This is my journey to running a 70-kilometer ultramarathon in Japan. Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 61 of Road to Shimanami. Today's run has been completed successfully and my training consisted of the Nordic curl. Now, I think today is a perfect opportunity to kind of do a Nordic curl tutorial because I have made some short videos on the Nordic curl and a lot of people are asking me like, how the hell can you even train this movement? Now, I'll do a bit of an explanation today as to what the Nordic curl is, how you can train it, the exercises you should do, and then how often you should train it, right? And the progressions towards it. So today is a perfect opportunity because with all the running lately, my legs are not recovered to the point that I'm not able to do the unassisted Nordic curl anymore. And so what you're seeing on the screen right now is probably an assisted version, which will, come in handy. I will talk about it more during the progressions. So, first of all, when it comes to the Nordic curl, I think, the Nordic curl is basically an exercise where you hook your heels behind whatever, right? Your heels or your ankles behind something sturdy. And using the strength of your hamstring, you allow your body to go forward. And then once you hit the ground and your body is horizontal, that's when you pull yourself back up, mainly using the strength of your hamstrings, but also the calves, which for me, that's what was tired from today for the Nordic curls. Sorry, from the running, my calves are tired, so that's why I wasn't able to do them. But you will feel your calves as well in the Nordic curl, especially if you just start out. There might be some cramps here and there. Regardless, when it comes to the exercise that you need for the Nordic curl, I think the best way to get there is to do the Nordic curl itself, either in a half rep fashion or the full range of motion version, using progression, using assistance, the assistance being your fingers. Now, I've tried using assistance with bands as well, but I never really got to a spot where I could do it comfortably, mainly because, like, where the hell do you attach the band, right? That's like the most difficult thing to figure out. Not all places can, it's difficult to get a place where you can train the Nordic curl in the first place because where the hell do you hook your heels? But then to also find a spot where you can, put some bands, that's kind of difficult. So I landed on using my fingers as assistance because there's this different exercise where you just bend your hips instead to kind of make a progression. But I believe that progression makes you prone to injury because there is not a lot of range of motion going on in your hamstring. So I prefer the full Nordic curl, either a half rep variant or the full rep variant. And basically what you do is you use your fingers as assistance, and that's also going to be your progression. So the final progression is basically where you don't use any fingers at all, but then the progressions going from easy to hard are going to be 5 fingers. This is almost nothing, especially if you're doing the half rep variant where you don't take your fingers off the ground and do the final portion of the rep. You will see on the screen what's going on with the half and the full variant. But 5 fingers, you can push up on 5 fingers, right? So it's barely anything. And so it's really just a way to learn how to activate your hamstrings and how to pull in the Nordic curl, because in these variants, you're not supposed to push on your finger. You're basically supposed to use the assistance of your finger and then try and pull your fingers away slowly on the way down. So your negative is always going to be slower, but you go from 5 fingers to 4, 3, 2, 1, until you're with your index fingers. And then there's this final progression, because index fingers are still quite a bit of assistance. You go to your pinkies. And after you master full reps with your pinkies, let's say you can do 8 to 10 reps for a couple sets, right? You will either have the choice of removing the fingers, right, entirely, or doing it with one arm, one pinky, or using some weight. And now you say, Timmy, I don't have any weight. Just use a backpack with some water bottles in it. Like, I never used more than 8 kilos in my training, but I think you're gonna have enough if you use like, 2, even 2 kilos, right, or 4 or 6 kilos. You're definitely gonna be having that's enough weight to use on the pinky progression. And if you're able to do that for a couple reps, you already have pretty much the strength to train Nordic curl negatives and basically the Nordic curl itself. So those are the progressions, right? Those are the exercises. I think one more thing I should mention is how often should you train? And I got the best gains personally doing the training once every 4 days, not 2 times a week, once every 4 days. And one training would be a kind of hard training. Another training, I would switch these up. So 4 days, I guess one training hard, then the next training a bit lighter, maybe more volume, and then after that again hard or heavy, I should say, right? Basically every 4 days is, I think, for me, what got me the best progress. But even if you train it once a week, you will definitely be able to make progress because the Nordic curl, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's such a hard exercise. It's Don't underestimate this, especially the pressure it puts on your tendons, right? And so you don't want to overtrain because tendons grow stronger more slowly than the muscles, and you will have to train them as well. So they will get trained naturally throughout the movement if you're focusing on the negative, right? Trying to pull away your fingers slowly. But still, be careful and don't try to go too quickly. Don't try to train this movement more than 2 times a week. And yeah, I think even 1 time a week is definitely enough. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's training. Hopefully, someone out there will try the Nordic curl. I highly recommend it. And yeah, that's basically going to be it for today. I'll see you tomorrow for probably some push and some volume. Maybe even some pull too. I don't know.